Thinking about moving to Kansas City? Well, let me tell you what most real estate agents won't share, but that you absolutely need to know before packing your bags to move here. And stick around to the very end because I'm going to show you exactly how to spot a great real estate agent who generally has your back. Hey there, if you're new here, I'm Davida Volonnino. I'm a Kansas City mom, a local real estate agent with eXp Realty, and the founder of Volonnino Group. I help people relocate, invest, and find their place to live in this beautiful city I've called home for over a decade. I make videos about everything Kansas City, so if you're thinking about moving here, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe and let's get into it. Now, lots of real estate agents, whether on YouTube or other social media, usually highlight the best parts of Kansas City. Now, don't get me wrong, Kansas City is an incredible city to call home. But today, I want to share some truths that my clients and other Kansas Cityans often bring up. These are important factors you should know before moving here. Now, first, we're going to start with the weather. Now, Kansas City experiences all four seasons intensely. Summers, hot and humid, just awful. They can be downright uncomfortable, often hitting the high 90s and even triple digits in July and August. Now, winters, they can be equally challenging with temperatures frequently dipping into the teens and 20s, sometimes even single digits. And of course, with that brings all of your ice and snow, and these change very rapidly. So if you're someone who loves mild climates all year round, Kansas City weather might initially completely shock you. And speaking of weather challenges, let's talk pets. Now, if you've got furry family members, seasonal extremes means you're gonna need adjustments. I'm just thinking about like last winter, it got so cold that I really had to limit my pet's exposure outdoors. One thing that I did do, because my little guy just freezes in the winter, so I would find like different covered parking spaces so can run around and not completely freeze. And in summers, they're very hot pavements and your dogs can really burn their paws. But there are like a lot of parks and a lot of places they can cool off. So just make sure you really look at the schedule, look at the weather before you take your dog for a walk. Maybe get it some booties or something like that because that might be necessary. Now, I want to get into cars and costs because weather extremes here aren't just tough on you and your pets. They can affect your vehicles too. So summer heat and winter ice requires frequent maintenance and replacement for batteries, tires, and windshield wipers. Cars parked outdoors often need a lot more attention to prevent like hail damage. We get a lot of storms. We do get some really bad hail during intense storms, so these seasonal challenges definitely mean extra costs each year. Now, since we have all four seasons in Kansas City, expect noticeable utility costs. Now, the Kansas City Metro is among the top 10 most expensive US cities for heating and cooling. Now, my air conditioning bills spike dramatically in the summer months, and then the heating expenses in winter are really high as well. And there's a lot of older homes in Kansas City and they just aren't equipped for extreme efficiency unless they are specifically updated for it. So you really want to budget accordingly and check the units out before buying a property, as replacement could be something to negotiate when you buy a house. Now, Kansas City's affordability is often praised, especially major coastal cities, but don't be fooled. Like, recent growth has driven costs higher. Grocery prices have steadily increased. And though cheaper than some big metro areas, everyday expenses aren't as low as newcomers expect. I know when I moved here from Hawaii, which has a much higher cost of living, I've been here about 18 years now, but I've seen a huge influx in prices, especially in housing prices and utility costs. And gas prices fluctuate sometimes daily, and sometimes they can even exceed the national average. So just be aware of that. Now, Kansas City's economy is growing, but like anywhere, there are still risks. Now, home prices have jumped a lot in recent years, up nearly 14% at one point. But now we're starting to see that momentum really cool off. Some sectors like healthcare and tech are very strong industries here, but others like manufacturing are seeing job losses. And with interest rates still higher than most people got used to, affordability is a real challenge. So if you're buying or investing here, it is really smart to look at the long-term picture, not just short-term gains. So make sure your move fits your goals and your budget and where the market is headed next. Now, Kansas City's job market is actually pretty solid, especially in healthcare, tech and logistics, and finance. We have major employers here like T-Mobile, Cerner, Garmin, Hallmark, and it does provide a lot of opportunities. But here's the thing, not every salary here matches what you make in bigger cities, say Chicago or Dallas. And if you're in a blue-collar field, things can sometimes be up and down depending on the economy. So it's definitely something to think about if you're planning a move. Kansas City has been experiencing significant growth, leading to increased traffic congestion, especially during peak hours. Now, major corridors like I-435, I-35, and I-70 often see heavy traffic. And there's so much ongoing construction projects, and that really can further impact commute times. Now, to address these challenges, several infrastructure projects are underway, but you really have to have patience while they complete them all, because anywhere you turn here, there's just a lot going on working on the freeways. Now, with all the growth Kansas City has had and continues to have, local services are definitely feeling the pressure. Healthcare here is solid, especially with major systems like the University of Kansas Health and St. Luke's. But depending on your needs, it can be tough to get in with certain specialists quickly. Sometimes there's very long wait times, and it's just something that's not uncommon here, especially for things like dermatology or mental health. Now, as for school quality, it really depends on where you land. Now, I can speak from personal experience. Both my girls go to school in the Olathe School District, which is one of the better rated districts in the metro. Their average student to teacher ratio is about 14:1, and the graduation rates are above 90%, which is pretty solid. But not every district in KC is like that, so you really want to do your homework before you buy. Now, I'm always happy to help families by providing resources where you can look up information and you can sort through what options are available for you. Now, the decision to move to Kansas City is definitely a big one, so I highly recommend talking and working with a real estate agent, a good one, before making your decision. Now, they're really going to help you understand the different areas, lifestyles. It is so different here. Every area is very different, and you really need someone who's going to help find the perfect place that you and your family can resonate with. Now, choosing the right agent is crucial. Here's a couple of ways to vet your agent. Ask them these questions. Here's what to ask. How many transactions have you completed in the last 12 months? Why are you gonna ask that? 79% of real estate agents didn't even sell one house last year. This industry is changing daily, so you have to have someone with their finger on the pulse to guide you. Another thing you want to ask them is, how do you help your clients decide the best area and life based on your lifestyle? Another great question is, what do most people regret not knowing before moving to Kansas City? And you really want to look for genuine, thoughtful answers rather than just sales pitched. And most importantly, make sure you vibe with your agent. Trust and communication is so important. Now, if you need any resources, I'm happy to provide you with anything to help with your research. These are third-party resources, but they're people that I really trust. So feel free to reach out, shoot me a text, give me a call. I'm always here to help. I would love to work with you and your family, but even if we don't end up working together, I can still be a lot of help to you. So if you're ready to discuss your Kansas City move, reach out anytime, call, text, email me directly. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave any questions or comments that you have so I know what you're thinking or wondering about. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.